can see, what we're doing right now is the repair of all the damage. Almost every bit of that was done as a result of the hailstorm, and now we're going to do this in-house, and we've got the scaffold getting ready to start at the front now. They're really basically just patching holes right now, and then we'll work our way back. We'll paint that section and move back to the next section and so forth all the way back. Yeah, I anticipate that taking a couple months. We'll have to shut down for a couple of events, you know, for that. But we save a lot of money by doing it in-house, because first thing, painters are extremely expensive, especially at 40-something feet in the air. So our next big thing we want to take care of over here is backstage, and there's some settling. Well, back during the era that this building was built in the 70s, the practice was to build the building and then pour the floor separate, which they didn't tie together. Well, the structure of the building is intact and is still in very, very good shape. It's the floors that are sinking away from the walls in just a couple areas, especially the backstage, left side of the backstage, or southwest corner of the backstage, and over the northeast corner of the arena. And it takes a substantial amount of money to do that, to get either the concrete removed and replaced or to jack it back up in place. It's not just a matter of going under there and jacking it back up. They have to take part of the concrete out to pull it out and all that. So that's what we want to show you, the basics of what we're talking about and the extent of what it takes to do it.
We're also going to do the stage here. Usually it needs to be resurfaced and whatnot, so, but that'll be a contractor.
Yeah, the stage needs resurfacing, because some of which was because of the water damage on the roof, and it came down and damaged the floor. And a little bit of it, I have to admit, is partially age, you know, 1976 wood. So we can get this, see, it's got that hose in it like that right there. They can take that sander, these gym companies that resurface basketball floors and stuff, they have the professional equipment to sand that down to just plain wood, and then come back over that with the black surface, and it'll look new. It's amazing.
Before we go backstage there, let's show her that electric, that those faders. You know, I think that'd be good, because from 1970 we're still using this stuff. You know, that needs to be upgraded.
Yes, and I remember that.
So y'all have the original equipment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, we're able to kind of keep it pulled together. I'm sorry we don't have the light here. The lights are turned on from the booth upstairs.
Yeah, let me just.
This is, it needs to be in the Smithsonian Institute. It's so old. These are patch. This is a patch bay, and all of those lights on all 5 electrics are patchable depending on which circuit you want them on and which slider you want them open. Now that is modern up in the booth, the electronic sliders and all that. But all of this is antiquated. The entire circuitry here, the dimmers, which is on the opposite side of this wall, and the fixtures that's on the first, second, third, and fourth electric. You know, for modern day things, they did LED. They have these amazing computers that does all this. Instead of sliding all this stuff, you just type in what you want and it just does it.
That's what we need to get, that stuff. So even pulling, you gotta still use a pull to open the curtains. You know, that stuff is automatic in those places.
Right.
Even though our drapes are almost new, the technology that he's referring to is just amazing. They'll put a motor up there, and you just hit a button, and the gram just boom, and it just comes open. And you see that in a lot of not only your modern new buildings, where the technology is just amazing. You just one production guy's out there doing the whole opening and closing and so forth.
Now let's go back out. She's got another point because I want to kind of speed it up.
So we're going to step up the pace. right just outside this double door that we're getting ready to go out, that's where the trouble starts. As far as the floor,
Mhm.
we don't really have any settling on this floor because it's wood that's built over the top of concrete. This area here is where it starts. Now, this is not where the settling starts, a little bit of settling right there. But this would have to be supported underneath. Now, right here is where the main settling starts, and it protrudes in the suite there, along here, you can see the crack at the door right there.
Oh, yeah.
And it goes down about halfway down the hall, and it goes into these dressing rooms. The women's course here is especially bad, and the men's course, which is right next to it. The star dressing room is far down on the other end is not so bad at all. As you can
Oh,
see, as you can see how
yeah.
it,
Oh,
now see, the
wow.
wall's fine,
Yeah, but the floor.
but these little partitions and so forth are built on this thin concrete here. The wall is, this outer wall is not settling because it's on piers. And the outside of the building will never settle because, I talked to one of the committee members that was in charge of the original construction. He said they drove piers for months and months to set all the outside walls on them.
So you see all this stuff is old. We want to
Yeah.
replace all this stuff with current. So you can see we need to update it.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I mean, it doesn't give you the appeal that I want to have something here
There you
because of
go.
the, yeah.
There you go.
And if you have time, we want to take you to the
Yeah,
arena.
yeah, go ahead.
After a little bit, we'll take you to the arena and show you what we've done over there.
Okay.
Which is just like, whoa, this is nice.
Okay.
Step by step by step, and under.
So the arena was in dire conditions and you guys upgraded it, or? Okay.
Yes, with the help of, with the leadership of Mr. McCorvey, he was able to acquire enough funding to basically renovate the entire arena. Now, there's some stuff that we ran out of, the resources, like the ceiling. We wanted to black out the ceiling. We wanted to do a little bit of an upgrade to the sound system, which the sound system's fine. It just needs upgrading to be up to my standards and Mr. McCorvey's standards. We want it premier. We want to be a class act, especially when we hopefully get our new property next door. We want to be right there with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go down right here and go back to the main lobby, or actually the auditorium, we have to go to the clinic. But see, as you can tell, this, I mean, yes, this is just a back of house place, but it's not settling or nothing. It's still structurally sound.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through here, we're gonna have to go through the COVID, vaccination. Here's a mess over here we didn't clean after we were straight into construction mode.
I understand.
This is what we call the Entertainers Hall of Fame, and it all goes all the way around. My dream, I hadn't discussed this with Mr. McCoy, but my dream is for this red carpet to go away.
Yeah, it needs to go. Yeah,
It hollers 1972. When we got the original funding for the Entertainers Hall of Fame, there was only X amount of money from the state. We used it to paint the walls, replace the ceiling, and build the cases. There wasn't enough to do the doors.
Go ahead, I'll catch up with you. I'm gonna make sure that music's playing because the mayor's been on me about music. Yeah.
I wish you had before and after pictures of this arena from 3 years ago to now. We had even the walls and these concourses and so forth were, I call it dingy. It was dingy white. It was white, real white originally, and then it just became dingy over the time. I call it, it's not the color of that grid right there. It's the yellowish looking. It was just pitiful. And so we was able to repaint in-house now. We stretched the money as far as we could go. So we've done a lot of stuff in-house, like the painting of the concourses, the entryways that you see, all the doors. We've done all that in-house to save money. And One thing we didn't get to is the ceiling, which we hope that to be part of the insurance claim, because a lot of these tiles, especially on down further, were damaged, and we've replaced some of them with tiles from other areas, or it would look a whole lot worse than it does now. But you can just tell that's not modern, but the walls are, you know, as far as, you know, as far as an arena. And this is, of course, a men's restroom, but to give you an idea of what this used to be. I don't know if you're familiar with them little bitty tiny tiles that was popular in 1976. That's what was
Like
in
the
here.
mosaic type?
Yep. It was little bitty tiles. All new stalls, all new wash basins. We are getting ready here shortly, and the funding's already been approved for it, for new valves and stuff, automated, everything, touch-free, and that's coming soon. But this is so much better than it used to be. New floor, new paint, new sinks, new stalls, and it's pricey. It gets pricey real quick as far as renovation.
Where does a lot of your funding come from? Do you get donations, grants?
For the arena here, well, the funding, Mr. McCorvey would be better to answer that question, because he took care of all that end of it. He was in charge of getting it, I was in charge of spending it. Our concession stands are amazing too, and I could go in and open those up, but it's all granite now, all granite countertops on the front and the back. Real easy to clean. All new video screens showing the menus of what's available. A big screen menu in the middle of the inside of this door, showing we can do all kinds of video, moving video, popcorn popping and everything, along with flashing up with memory and with the social distancing, whatever we need, and when we make our little maze here in front of it. But the concession stands probably came further than most anything in this building, as far as in this portion of the building, because they were very antiquated. It's virtually all new in there. And the women's restrooms, there's no point in showing everything, but the women's restrooms are almost identical to the men's, except it's more stalls, of course. Dressing rooms, we have 5 main dressing rooms for sporting events, for concerts, that type of thing, and we renovated those in a similar fashion to the bathrooms. The same mosaic tile type, new showers, new shower valves, new shower stalls. This particular one, I don't think we've done new stalls because we'd already replaced them when this dressing room used to be blue. It was everything was blue in here. It was pitiful. And so therefore that's why the stalls are still blue in there, because we're just conserving money, and it's just a shower. But all new shower valves, they were all antiquated, and a lot of them didn't work. New stalls here. That is actually a blackboard that you use to, I think what they call that.
X's and
dry
O's.
erase, for the teams and stuff. And then we have chairs, rather than the old benches that used to be in here. We have chairs that we bring in for the team members, if it's a basketball tournament or whatever. And in some cases we have like a concert, we may temporarily rent nice furnishings for a particular act, because there's writers, a lot of times they'll call for a really nice dressing room. We have portable carpet we put down, and make it more classy.
Yes.
for that type of event. Now this is what we have to have for basketball, because basketball players and sporting events and so forth, they're rough on their dressing rooms. They are. Especially kids jumping, hitting the ceiling and so forth like that. And we especially have trouble with soap dispensers and towel dispensers and so forth during sporting events. Now, if the lights are not on in the arena, let's walk back down this way where I can turn the lights on in the arena. And the arena has come a very, very long ways. All new paint on the steps, all new paint on the walls, of course. I wish you could see it with the new basketball floor down. We basically, our old basketball floor, we had a company come in and they suggested we just sand it down to zero, nothing, just board, and repaint the whole thing. And we were able to do that before King Cotton came. And so we was able to put a new emblem in the middle. It's all the modern tones and everything, which is just amazing, the difference. And we had that done before in the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, and it was better than obviously 1976. But this brought it up to even modern day standards. Turn these lights on here. I'm just going to turn on the bright lights. New center hung with video. It can do the score in the middle. It can do live video in the middle, or we can do video on the ends. And most of the time that is scoreboard. Unless of course it's like a graduation, we may be showing pictures at the ends, on both ends, and the center hung, or we can do something different in the center hung versus the ends. And the new score system, where it used to be basketball only, we can do volleyball, we can do basketball, we can do most any sport. We just hit a button and it becomes that scoreboard. Where used to it's just basketball only and you had no options.
Mm-hmm.
You had to bring your own scoreboard if it's a different sport like gymnastics or anything like that. This used to, all of what the dark gray that you see was kind of a red like the seats.
Oh.
All of what you see that's the light gray was white, and you know, having a white wall with an arena, it gets dirty and it's almost impossible to clean. Now the arena floor, basically any arena anywhere don't do anything to the floors because they're so easily scratched and they just look worse if you try to paint them or finish them. So almost all arenas do just natural concrete. But we're very proud of this. As you can see up there in the entryways, those are 70-inch LED TVs. We can do advertising, we can do messaging. Like for recently, for example, we put up social distancing, we put up face masks required as mandated by the state. We can do advertising for the concession stand, which is right down the stairs from those, and there's 4 of those in here. And that's just additional information other than what we put up on the center homes. We can do waving flags on all that video, you know, for the national anthem and so forth. We have remote lights that shines on the big flags up there that come on at the same time. Just remote control that from our sound booth. We have changed our emblem, as you probably have already noticed. We changed our emblem, our logo rather, from used to say Pine Bluff like this, and say positively over to positively Pine Bluff. Well, we'd had that for probably 15, 20 years, but now we've had a new design on the logo, and we had those light up. When the concourse lights come on, those 4 light up like, well, they're lit up down there. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it added a little bit of class there too.
Mm-hmm.
The sound system that you see that's hanging around this center hung here is a Bose sound system. Now it's quite old. It's probably 15, 16 years old, but it's still an awesome system. It just needs to be slightly upgraded, which, you know, is not going to take just a ton of money, but anytime you say the word Bose, you're talking about money. as you
Yes,
probably already know.
technology period.
Right. The tape that you see on the seats, we have to do it every time we have an event for social distancing. Mm-hmm. And so they'll tear off part of it, and we have to put it back and so forth. So I hope we come up with something more permanent there. as we try to get through this COVID. I see it going on for at least mid to late 22 or mid to late 21. And so we're going to continue to have to face that. I call it fear factor because you don't want, generally people, especially at a certain age, don't want to come out for things. Although we've had some pretty good crowds, you know, they have to space out. We've had some pretty good crowds for, like recently we've had about 2 weeks ago, we had a gymnastics meet, and we had a really good crowd, even though they were socially distanced. We can still seat around 1,500 in here at social distancing. In fact, it went over so well, we've got another one on the books for about 2 weeks from now, out of a different city. This one was local. It was local sponsored, but the people came from all over the state and region for the competition.
Are y'all seeing that a lot? A lot of people are wanting to book the convention because of the space you
Yes.
guys are able to accommodate?
Yes, we're able to spread out people, unlike other facilities that they can't really get very many people in. So we're getting a lot of calls, although some of the calls are not realistic, like wedding receptions and so forth, where you're dancing or you're in close proximity to each other.
Mm-hmm.
These type of events, like in our arena, in the auditorium, even the banquet hall for meetings, for especially our municipal events, like government events, where they can social distance and so forth, and we have temperature checks, and we go strictly by the state mandates on all that.
You talked to her about that,
Yes.
where we invested that money for that?
I had explained all this out here. That booth up there is exclusively for the control of the center hung scoreboard system, although the actual board that you key the thing in, score and stuff in, is down here, and it plugs in and goes up to it's a state-of-the-art TV production.
Yeah, we spent about $350,000 for
Yeah.
the center hung and all.
And so you can fade from picture to picture. You can play video. You can play animatronics. You can play anything you want to on that center hung and the inboard.
Mm-hmm.
It is awesome. You talking about going from here to here,
Yes.
literally. It is. We've come a long ways in here, and every dressing room back there is backstage, to give you an idea, and all four bathrooms have been done like that also. So everything you do is multiplied by 10, you know, so it adds up quickly.
And most of the work is from in-house employees.
Yes, we had the tile that's in these dressing rooms and bathrooms and so forth, and some of the stalls. We had a contractor come in, and we bought the product to keep no markups that way. We bought the product and had a contractor come in and lay the tile. Because I don't pretend to have the expertise in-house or the time to do such things as that. But we can bring in part-time to help our full-time, especially during COVID where we're kind of slow anyway. We can save a considerable amount of money by doing stuff in-house and keeping our staff busy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're attempting to do now, and it'll even get better as spring gets here, because we'll be able to do some upgrades outside also. Painting of the porch hangovers and painting of the facade of the building. It'll really make a difference.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen the marquee.
Mm-hmm.
That was a major upgrade right there. Instead of out there with I call it the pogo stick, changing the letters, we're able to do all that via internet now, and it all transmits from a transmitter, and it's got receivers out there on that, and we can put different things on different sides. As far as advertising upcoming events, we even will, for a small fee, we could even put personal stuff up there, like happy birthday, or congratulations. We just don't put. There's one restriction we have on that is no political thing can go up there, because you get a mess, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
The common lobby hasn't had a whole lot done to it. But the banquet halls, we're able to do little things here and there. Get those lights.
Okay.
Like the speaker system in the banquet hall, we recently upgraded that. There's little things that we can work into our general operating budget as money comes available or emergencies don't come up. That is what we call the plant, which is the heating. It's a central point of the entire building as far as heating, cooling, domestic hot water, domestic cold water, and environmental control throughout the entire complex in that building out there. And then it all goes down under the ground and over to these huge air handlers, which we're getting ready to upgrade that, and that's already been approved also, to upgrade all of our filtration systems in these air handlers, which are tremendous in size. They're probably twice as tall as you and I, and move a mass amount of air. And we get ready to upgrade all of the air filtration system on every unit in the entire building. That's kind of, that's already been pre-approved. We're getting ready to move on that soon. As soon as we can get our, we have a certain procedure we have to go through for procurement, and that being three written quotes open. We have to run it in the press, and we have to have sealed bids and all that type of thing. So it's a process we have to go through for all that kind of money. Mm-hmm. We're talking, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to upgrade a filtration system, and that's part of our even our COVID upgrades. Is air filtration is a big deal now.
Yeah.
And not only with COVID, but it will help on the common cold, everything. And of course, we've always had a good practice of sanitation and spraying down the handrails and often touch surfaces and so forth.